My wife's lies and cheating and her playing with fire. I was sitting at the kitchen table waiting for my so-called loving wife to finish getting ready for a spa weekend with the girls, as she told me. That's right. She just walked in the door and unequivocally informed me that she was leaving for 3 days with the girls from work to attend a spa weekend. And she's leaving the same afternoon. Forget about the fact that we were supposed to be celebrating our 17th anniversary that weekend. Of course, I knew it was all a load of crap. I wasn't stupid. I'd seen signs of her lying and cheating over the past few weeks, and today I'd just gotten a full report from my private investigator, complete with photos, videos, and bios on several of the characters she'd been dating. And tonight was going to be the end of it, one way or another. So I sat at my desk and waited for her to shower, pack, and do whatever else she needed to do to get ready for the weekend. While I waited, I thought about the events that had ruined our marriage. When Marie first started working for an insurance company a couple years ago, I fully supported her. Our daughter, Chelsea, had just turned 14 at the time and was old enough and capable enough to take care of herself on her own with minimal supervision. My wife decided it was time to go back to work, and I agreed. I felt that working would help her deal with the inevitable emptying of the nest when Chelsea went to college. At the time, I trusted my wife completely. If she had told me that day the sun rose in the west and set in the east, I probably would have believed her. She was so honest, and I never once questioned her fidelity. Our sex life was good, or at least I thought so. Sure, we weren't teenagers anymore, but we still managed to see each other at least 3 days a week, often bringing each other to multiple pleasures. In my opinion, Marie was still as sexy and beautiful as she had been on our first wedding day. I was a little surprised when she asked if she could go out for drinks with the other girls in her office. I had never known her to go out without me, but I trusted her and believed her, so I let her spend the evening. She promised to call and let me know where she was, and swore she'd call me if she was too drunk to drive. And, she added, it would be once a month. I was fine with that. After all, I went golfing a couple times a month with the other guys from work, so I thought it was fair, as long as it stayed within the law. She always called me to let me know where she was, and I only had to pick her up once, when her friend Sue called to let me know they'd had a little too much to drink and didn't want to risk getting intoxicated. Things were fine for the next few months, but I noticed that she was getting later and later out of the house, and the once-a-month outings turned into 2 or 3 times a month. Then it became a weekly event, and sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. Eventually, she started walking more often than she was home. And of course, our sex life took a big hit. Instead of 3 times a week, I was lucky if we made love once a week. I had my suspicions, but I didn't say anything, not wanting to make a fuss. And then it happened. She drove off on one of her walks, giving me a quick peck on the cheek. She drove off in her car without giving me a single glance. After an hour or so, I realized I hadn't heard from her, so I called. Dialing her number, I was surprised to hear her phone ringing in the bedroom. Of course, she had left it behind. So, being the good guy I am, I decided to take it to her. I knew they usually went to the lounge at the Holiday Inn near us, so I took her phone and headed there, taking Chelsea with me, hoping she would help me locate her car. However, when I arrived at the location, her car was nowhere to be found. I called her friend Sue to see if they had gone somewhere else, but Sue said they hadn't gone anywhere that night. They hadn't left the house in a couple weeks and weren't going to do anything for at least another 2 weeks, she said. Any idea where she might be? I asked. No, Joe, I really don't know. I'm sorry, she said. I asked about midweek walks, but got the same negative answer. I don't know what she's telling you, Joe, but we only see each other one Friday a month. Most of us are married and have kids, so we don't go out during the week, she told me. And then the unthinkable befell me. For the first time, I caught my wife in a lie. I couldn't shake the idea that she was cheating on me. Marie didn't say anything at the office? I asked. Not directly, but she's been acting a little different lately, she replied. Damn, I asked if she could let me know if she knew anything. "Sure, Joe, I'll let you know, I promise," she said. I ended the conversation and drove back home, not knowing what I would find. Marie hadn't returned yet, so I decided to dig through her phone to find any clue. I looked for messages or emails, but found nothing but those sent by me and her coworkers. Her call log had quite a few calls from numbers I didn't recognize, so I wrote them down and tried searching. The search led nowhere, so I decided they belonged to the so-called hot phones. I thought some more about how to get to the bottom of this and decided to install one of those phone finder apps that track a phone's location. I saw a few other apps that seemed useful and installed those too. Chelsea, who was up to date on all the latest phone technology, helped me a lot. By the time we were done, I was able to track her phone and record any conversations she might have had. I hated spying on my wife, but if she was having an affair, I needed to have some proof. Even though we live in a no-fault state, it is one of 4 states where adultery is still a criminal offense. So I waited, and waited, and waited some more. I turned on the TV but didn't pay much attention to it. It was about 2:30 a.m. when she finally pulled into the driveway. I knew something was wrong as soon as she entered the house. Her hair was disheveled, her clothes were a mess, and she smelled like alcohol, cigarette smoke, and sex. "Sorry I'm late," she said, and headed upstairs to the bathroom. I followed her. "Where have you been?" I asked. "You left your phone and we went looking all over the house for you. And what? Did something happen to you? You stink." "We were celebrating Sue's birthday and went to a few different places," Marie said. Another lie. "Really?" I asked. "Then why did Sue tell me you haven't gone anywhere in a couple weeks?" Marie's eyes got big. "Well, I don't know," Marie said. "Please let me get cleaned up, okay? I'm really tired and I have a headache," she added as she closed the bathroom door and locked it. That was a first. I realized something was wrong and felt both angry and relieved at the same time. Angry about her lies and possible cheating, and relieved that she was home, safe. After her shower, she climbed into bed and fell asleep. I wanted to deal with her right now, but decided to wait until morning when we'd both get some sleep. I examined her clothes and noticed signs of sex. The next morning, the situation wasn't much better. Chelsea threw me an understanding look and retreated to her room, paying attention to what was going on in her phone. "Marie," I began, "in all the years we've been married, you've never once lied to me. Last night, you lied not once, but twice. I'm trying to control myself, but I need an explanation. Are you having an affair? Do you want to break up?" Her eyes widened and she began to stammer. "No, Joe, I don't want to break up. I love you more than anything in the world. Please, you have to believe me," she said. "I wish I could believe you, Marie. I really do. But you never answered my first question." "Are you having an affair?" I asked. At that, her face turned red. At first, I thought she was about to break down and admit it, but then her attitude changed. Completely. "Who cares if I'm having an affair?" she asked. "Why do you care? Ah? When was the last time you just picked up and made love to me like you did when you were young?" "What?" I asked. "You're kidding, right? When was the last time you were home long enough for us to do something? You're gone 2 or 3 nights a week doing God knows what with God knows who. And then I find out you've been lying to me all this time." "Okay," she said. "I'm sorry I haven't been completely honest with you. I started going to the gym, and then my trainer and I started meeting other people from the gym for drinks, and sometimes we lost track of time." I knew that was another lie. There were no workout clothes around here unless she was working out in high heels and microskirts. And we'd never gotten a bill from the gym, as far as I knew. "Here's the thing," I said, trying to calm down. "I just don't have any confidence right now. Things have to change quickly around here. And if you're having an affair, it's over. I will not tolerate cheating. No way. Understood?" Marie's attitude changed again. She put her arms around me and we kissed. "I'm sorry," You're right, she said. I'll make it up to you. Please believe that I do love you. I decided to play along and pulled her close to me, but I was determined to keep my eyes on her. The fact that she never denied that she was having an affair really bothered me. But first things first. I took her upstairs and we spent the morning making love to each other. For the next couple weeks, things were fine at home, but I decided it was time to get proof once and for all. Even though we seemed to be reunited, she was still going out twice a week, including Fridays. I knew through Sue that they had one real hen party, but the other times remained a mystery. I kept tabs on her phone and found out that she spent her time at the Riverfront Motel, a rather dubious establishment in a bad part of town. One day I followed her and saw her socializing with a group of guys who didn't look very friendly. I took a couple pictures on my phone and went home. I decided to bring in a professional, and after doing some research, I hired John Smith, a retired police detective who had started his own detective company. "So," he asked me, "what do you have?" I told him what I'd seen, what the phone search app showed, and showed him the pictures I'd taken of her. He said. "This seems like a pretty rough company. Let me work on it, and I'll get back to you in a week. In the meantime, don't do anything stupid and just be yourself." John kept his word and called me a week later. I made an appointment with him, and that was the day my world ended. "It sounds like your wife got involved with some very bad people," he said. "I have tons of pictures and videos. You may not want to look at them, but you need to know the truth. I'm sorry." He pulled out a large manila envelope that contained several glossy color photos. In all of them, my Marie was pictured having sex with a bunch of men. None of the men were using contraceptives, and I knew Marie wasn't using any birth control. "We've watched your wife with no less than 25 different men in the last week," he said. "Look at this," he added, pointing to a photo of Marie surrounded by a group of 5 men. "See those tattoos? Those are MS-13, probably the most disgusting assholes imaginable. Your wife has really gotten involved with some bad guys." "This guy," he said, pointing to a young, clean-cut man, "seems to be the ringleader. His name is Julio Cabrera, and he's connected to just about every drug cartel. He moonlights as a trainer at the gym, and we believe that's how he recruits his women. He's a slick asshole and a known ladies' man. Your wife probably didn't stand a chance." So, I thought, maybe Marie was telling the truth about joining a gym after all. "Why aren't the police taking action, detaining them?" I asked. "Easier said than done," John replied. "These guys aren't just tough, they're cunning. And they have a lot of defense. That doesn't mean the feds aren't watching them, they are. They're just biding their time. And they don't usually trust private investigators like me." "So what am I supposed to do?" I asked. I certainly wasn't in any condition to go up against MS-13, but I didn't want this to go on. "I would advise you the following," John said. "Knowing these guys, you'd better get your losses over with. Take your daughter and move out. Leave your wife behind. Let her not know where you are. Cut all ties with her. She is obviously hooked on this lifestyle, and chances are they are coming after you and your girl. All the information you need is in the report. Again, Joe, I'm sorry. I wish I had better news." I paid the bill and walked out of his office, feeling like my whole world had been shattered. I asked myself all the questions husbands ask in situations like this. Why did she do this? Was I not a good enough husband and father? Was I not good in bed? I came home and cried for what seemed like an eternity. I was still crying when Chelsea got home from school. I had to tell her the truth, no matter how hard it was. Naturally, she didn't take it too well and threatened to scratch her mother's eyes out at the first opportunity. A glance at the clock told me that Marie would be home in about 2 hours, so I called my mother and arranged for Chelsea to stay with her for a while. "What's going on, Joe?" Mom asked. "I'll tell you all about it later, Mom," I said. "Marie is cheating on me, and it's bad, really bad. There's a chance that Chelsea could be in danger, so I don't want her here for a few days. Is it okay if she stays with you?" "Of course, honey," my mom said. I'll come get her. Chelsea packed up her things and left with my mom. As they left, both women hugged me. No matter what, Chelsea said, you're my daddy, and I love you. I love you too, Chelsea, I said, kissing her forehead. I'll be in touch, okay? When they left, I walked over to my gun safe, grabbed a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol, and loaded it with hollow point bullets. Considering who Marie was hanging around with, I decided not to take any chances. I placed the gun next to my briefcase on the kitchen table and waited for Marie. It didn't take long. Marie walked through the door, looked at me, and announced her plans for the weekend. I'm sorry to let you know this last minute, she said, but some of the girls and I are going away to a spa this weekend, starting today. Oh, really? I asked. How did that happen? Our office was rewarded for a very productive quarter, and upper management decided to give us the weekend off. Isn't that great? She asked, smiling. Just really great, I said. She looked at me a little nervously. What's the matter? She asked. Aren't you happy for me? What about our plan for the weekend? Our anniversary is coming up and we were going to celebrate, I said. I'll do it when I get back on Monday or Tuesday, she said. Monday or Tuesday, I asked. You don't even know when you'll be back? Are you telling me your little trip is more important than our marriage? No, it's just a one-time thing, that's all, she said. I'd better go pack and get packed. My car will be here soon. And with those words, she went up the stairs, leaving me alone at the table. And I began to wait. Eventually, she came back downstairs, dressed in a tiny micro-skirt and a see-through blouse with no bra. She completed the ensemble with a pair of open-toed sandals. She took her overnight bag and a bag of clothes with her and set them by the door. I'll see you later, she said, waving me away from the door. Apparently, she was going to leave without even kissing her husband goodbye. She started to open the door. Marie, we need to talk right now, I said. She stopped and looked at me. Joe, my car will be here any minute and I can't be late, she said. The girls are waiting for me. Trust me, Julio and the gang from the Riverfront Motel will still be there when you get there, I said. She stopped and lowered her eyes to the floor. Now get your rogue body over here so we can talk. And then you can go on your so-called spa weekend, I said. You know about Julio? She asked quietly. I know you've been having sex with him and a bunch of other guys for quite some time, so we need to talk, I said. Marie slowly walked over to the kitchen table and noticed the gun for the first time. What kind of gun is that? She asked. Are you going to shoot me? Not unless you try to shoot me first, I said, pulling a manila folder out of my briefcase. I opened it and placed some pictures on the table in front of her. Her eyes widened when she saw the images of her having sex with several men. Tell me, Marie, I said, which of these are the girls from work? A? Joe, please, I screwed up really badly. Please forgive me. Just give me this weekend and I'll make it up to you, she begged, tears streaming down her face. Why are you doing this, Marie? Why the lies? I asked. I can't tell you why. I wish I could, but I can't. Please believe me, I have to do this, she said. You have to go and spend the weekend having sex with an unknown number of men? Are you kidding me? I asked. You don't understand, she sobbed. I understand that my wife of almost 17 years, the mother of our child, is leaving her marriage for a bunch of thugs. I don't understand why, but I understand what happens after that. Do you? Do you have any idea what's going to happen? I asked. Please, Marie sobbed. I'll do anything. Counseling. Call it whatever you want. I'll be your slave if you want. Just let me do it. Marie, how stupid are you? I asked angrily. Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? You're playing with fire, and you can only get burned. How did you get involved in this? Remember when I said I was going to the gym? She asked. I remembered. That's where I met Julio. He worked out with me, showed me how to use the equipment, and helped me achieve what I wanted. I wanted to look good for you, Joe. He was so nice to me, charming, telling me how beautiful I was. Then he took me out for a drink. I don't know what happened then. Maybe he used a drug to use on the date. I don't know. But he made me feel like a young woman again. Things went on from there. Soon he introduced me to his friends and told me that if I didn't agree, he would send you a video of us having sex. He even threatened to stalk Chelsea if I didn't cooperate. And this weekend? I asked. It's our farewell weekend. I told him I couldn't take it anymore and that it had to end. So he arranged this weekend and promised it would be over for good, she said. Oh, it will be over, okay, I said. If you do that, we're definitely over. Did you know that some of his friends you slept with are from MS-13? No, I didn't know, she said. And do you really think they're just going to let you walk away? I asked. Let me tell you something about the lover, okay? I pulled out a newspaper clipping and a picture of a girl whose throat had been slit from ear to ear. Marie gasped. You see, Julio is somewhat of a germaphobe. He's deathly afraid of getting infected. According to some reports I've read, he caught a cold and thought he'd contracted it from this girl when they had sex. She was only 19 at the time. That's who you're dealing with, I said. So it's unlikely he's going to let you just walk off into the sunset like that. And even if he does, you've already ruined that marriage. I hope it was worth it for you, I said. I'm so sorry, Marie cried. Please forgive me, Joe. I really do love you, but I have to do this. She got up from the table, kissed me on the cheek, and slowly headed for the door. Wiping her eyes, she picked up her bags and looked around one last time. I really love you, Joe, she said sadly. I'll make it up to you, I promise. She opened the door and walked out to the cab waiting outside the house. I didn't know it then, but that was the last time I saw her alive. I cried for a while longer, still finding myself confused. Why had she done this? I remembered the app on her phone and started it on mine. I hoped I could track her and maybe save her from whatever fate Julio had in store for her. According to the app, her phone was at my address, a landline. I went upstairs and saw it on the dresser. It dawned on me that she had intentionally left the phone behind so she couldn't be tracked down. I also realized that I couldn't report her missing for at least 24 hours. All I could do was wait and hope for the best. I called Chelsea and talked to her and her mom for a bit. I told them to stay put and let me know if either of them called about Marie. That weekend was hell for all of us. Even though the marriage was broken, I didn't want her to be physically harmed. I even drove by the Riverfront Motel to see if I could see her or anyone from Julio's group, but I saw nothing. The next day, I called the police and attempted to file a missing persons report. However, the person on the phone didn't seem to care and said I should wait until Monday. I literally had nothing to do but wait and hope for the best. Finally, Monday morning came. I called work and explained that there was an emergency at my house. I had some free time and my boss let me take a couple days to get things straightened out. I called Marie's work, but she wasn't there. I asked to get Sue and I was put through to her right away. What's wrong? She asked. Have you seen Marie or heard from her? I asked. No, I haven't, she replied. She's usually here by now, but no one has seen or heard anything. I told her about what had happened on Friday. Oh my God, Sue said. I had no idea. Let me call the police, okay? We're all a little worried. Thanks for letting me know, and I'll call if I hear anything. I thanked her, hung up, and called the police again. This time they seemed more responsive, took my information, and directed me to a detective. Detective Marshall here. Is this Mr. Klein? The man on the other end of the line asked. I answered in the affirmative. Mr. Klein, I'd like to come over and talk to you if that's okay with you, he said. I again replied that I didn't mind. Okay, he replied. I'll see you in an hour or so. Immediately after the conversation ended, I heard a report on the local news that sent a chill down my spine. The decapitated nude body of a woman was found on the banks of the Rappaport River early this morning. The body was found shortly after a shootout between law enforcement and members of what is believed to be an MS-13 gang. No police officers were injured, but up to 10 gang members were reportedly shot. The woman's identity is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. Stay tuned to Eyewitness News, the announcer said. I spent the next hour hoping the woman wasn't Marie, but those hopes were dashed when Detective Marshall showed up with another man wearing a badge. "Mr. Klein?" the detective asked when I opened the door. "Yes," I replied. "I'm Detective Marshall," he said as he showed me his badge and ID. "This is FBI Special Agent Owens," he added, pointing to the man standing next to him. Special Agent Owens also held out his ID to me. I invited them both inside. "Mr. Klein, are you related to one Marie Klein?" asked Detective Marshall. I told them that she was my wife, at least for the moment. They looked at each other for a moment before turning to me. "I regret to inform you, Mr. Klein, that your wife was found dead this morning," the detective said. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. I was ready to divorce her for cheating on me, but I didn't want her to be harmed. "Was it my wife's body that was found by the river this morning?" I asked. "Unfortunately, Mr. Klein, it was. Again, I'm sorry for your loss," the detective said. The FBI man spoke up. "Mr. Klein, you should know that your wife has been working with us for some time now, and she was instrumental in our raid this morning against Julio Cabrera and his gang," he said. "What?" I asked. "She's not an FBI agent. She works for an insurance agency. She handles claims and paperwork. When did she start working for you?" "I understand your confusion," he said. "We've been following Cabrera for quite some time and contacted your wife after her fourth, meeting with Cabrera. She agreed to carry a wire in her purse so we could keep tabs on what the band was planning." "Oh my God," I said. "Did she know the danger she was in?" "Absolutely," Agent Owens said. "Your wife felt she needed to atone for what she had done. So yes, she went into this knowing full well that she might not be able to do it. She never told you this, but her actions may well have saved your life and your daughter's life. You see, Cabrera planned to kill you and sell both your wife and your daughter into slavery. I don't think I need to elaborate on what he planned for them. If it's any consolation, your wife would probably face a fate far worse than death if Cabrera had succeeded." "And that's why she couldn't tell me anything?" I asked, fighting the tears that threatened to flood my eyes. "Yes, that's right," Agent Owens said. "That's why she left her cell phone here. She knew you would try to rescue her and wanted to keep you safe. By the way, I was the one who picked her up on Friday. Your wife was a very brave woman, Mr. Klein. You and your daughter should be very proud of her. Thanks to her sacrifice, Cabrera and his gang are either dead, in jail, or on the run. And believe me, the few members that are left will be caught and dealt with very soon." He reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. "Marie asked me to give you this in case she doesn't make it. Again, Mr. Klein, I would like to offer you my condolences on behalf of the entire FBI and a very grateful nation," he said. "Goodbye, Mr. Klein," the detective said, shaking my hand. "We'll be in touch with you in a few days to help with final arrangements. Once again, we're sorry for your loss." Closing the door behind them, I suddenly felt like an asshole. My wife's last words were full of hate and bitterness, and yet her final act had saved my life and the life of our daughter. Hot tears came in floods as I numbly opened the envelope Agent Owens had handed me. Inside lay a note with Marie's rings on it. "My dear Joe," the letter began, written in her floral, almost perfect handwriting that I had always loved. "If you are reading this, I am probably dead. I'm so sorry for causing you so much pain and suffering. I never wanted to lie or deceive you and would rather die than live a lonely life without you and our Chelsea. The truth is that I did cheat, although the first time I was drugged and blackmailed every time after that. I joined a gym to get in shape for our anniversary. I hoped you would like the new me and rave about me like you did on our honeymoon. That's when I met Julio. Like I said, he was supposed to help me with my workouts. After the first training session, he invited me to have a drink with him. I foolishly said yes, and that's when he drugged me and then seduced me. I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed the sex despite being drugged. He told me I had to be available to him and his friends and threatened to show you and Chelsea the video of my first seduction. Things got even worse after that. Julio videotaped everything that was done and made it clear that if I didn't agree, he and his friends would use both me and Chelsea and they would make you watch and then kill you. He also threatened to sell us into slavery. That's when the FBI contacted me. I agreed to help them, hoping I could get out of this mess and maybe redeem myself in your eyes. I had a wire in my purse that night, and that's why I couldn't tell you the truth. I wanted to so badly, but I couldn't. Please don't mourn for me. If I'm dead, it means I'm in a much better place and we'll be together again forever. The truth is, I got what I deserved. I can only hope that you and Chelsea are safe and can one day find it in your hearts to forgive me. I also want you to find another woman and live a long, happy life. And please remember that I have always loved you. You were the best husband, provider, and father a woman could ever dream of. I had the best of everything, but I blew it. Again, my love, I'm sorry for hurting you. I never meant to do that. Your loving wife, Marie. P.S. By the way, you were right. As always, I was playing with fire and I got burned. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.